Our apprentice Tom may now refuse to wipe his scoundrel master's shoes, for now he's free to sing and play over the hills and far away, over the hills and o'er the main, to Flanders, Portugal and Spain. Queen Anne commands and will obey, over the hills and far away. We all shall lead more happy lives by getting rid of brats and wives, and scold and bawl both night and day, over the hills and far away, over the hills and o'er the main, to Flanders, Portugal and Spain. Queen Anne commands and will obey, over the hills and far away. Courage, boys, 'tis one to take, but we'll return all gentlemen as well as they, over the hills and far away, over the hills and o'er the main, to Flanders, Portugal and Spain. Queen Anne commands and will obey, over the hills and far away, over the hills and o'er the main, to Flanders, Portugal and Spain. Queen Anne commands and will obey, over the hills and far away.
Oi, oi, here I am. How's everyone going? Good tune, that, innit? I don't know where that version's from, though. It's kind of weird. Oh, shut up, you. Yeah, sorry, it was booming in my ears there. How's everyone doing? First things first, good picture, that, innit? Have you seen all the footage lately of people attacking hot white girls with dreadlocks, saying that they shouldn't wear them? First of all, you shouldn't wear them because you look like a knobhead. But second of all, I think if Joy Reid can walk around with what looks like a blonde helmet strapped to a bonce, I think a fit blonde lass can get away with dreads. That's a bit weird to me, that, but what do I know? Other things I've done today is I filmed a prison video, right? Which definitely it isn't a joke. I'm flying to the UK next week. If I go dark and the prison video releases, I've put it on a timed release, and I've got a Gucci background, so it looks like I'm surrounded by loads of blokes in orange jumpsuits. If that goes live, it's true. So please share it, safe in the knowledge that I'm currently in the coal shed beating the daddy up in the east wing of Wormwood Scrubs. Because, yeah, that's not a joke. What else did I do? I filmed a white pill video that I think I'll release on Monday with any luck. Talking about the Smyrna convoy, because I think people need to realise that it's not all lost. I've noticed there's been a lot of comments in my videos from the last couple of weeks. People really do seem to be despairing somewhat. So I filmed a video to tide you all over while I'm gone, because it's not the end of the world. Even though reform are falling apart now, something will arise. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. When the people have had enough, something will come. The tiger will waken. I guarantee you that. So I don't feel like, no matter how bad it gets, we persevere. At the height of the Second World War, we persevered. Through every challenge we've ever had, you persevere. And the worse it gets, the more likely it is it's all going to massively kick off. And after it kicks off, there will be some order of a kind. As I said, the Japanese got nuked twice. And 40 years later, they were in a pretty good spot. So nothing is the end, is all I'll say. And I made a video about it. It gets bad before it gets better, but then it will get better. So please do not give in to despair. There is no need. Here's a good one. This will make all the Irish amongst you laugh. Sinn Féin, remember them? Scousers and Geordies, in fact, can I make that a bit bigger? It's kind of hard to read. Look, Sinn Féin, Scousers and Geordies have nothing in common with us. F the English, also Sinn Féin. Unbutu Unging Wengbo is as Irish as Bobby Sands. These people are mental, aren't they? So, there she is saying, get educated. I've noticed it's always the thickest people in the world who tell you to get educated. Have you noticed that? Get educated. You've got the IQ of a pull along duck, love. This bird still has Velcro shoes. She's wearing her pyjamas, probably because she can't work a zip. And, yeah, she's telling you, my ancestors were here first. Well, how far back do you want to go, love? How far back? If you want to go far back as the first creature that crawled from the primordial oceans, yeah, okay, your ancestors were there first. But if you're talking about any time even remotely recently, they weren't. If you went to Ireland 400 years ago, every single person there would look like moi and not you, Miss Umbutu. So, yeah, get over it. Get over it. Yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world, is it? Why have they got such a massive chip on the shoulder? This is what I'm telling you. It's because they like driving you wild. That's why this is happening. If I have children in America, they'll know they didn't start here. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. You don't have to have started from the place where you end up. But don't rewrite the history books. It's always the hypocrisy that irritates me. It's like I told you about the... Okay, so let's go back a week. Last week I was fortunate enough to ride on a private jet for the first time. I'm 45 years old. I've never been on a private jet before. I've worked for a couple of companies that had them, but I never was lucky enough to get on them. Last week I got on it, and it was hoofing. It was way better than you would expect. And the point I was making to everyone when we were getting off it, and it is unbelievable, right? So LAX is the worst airport ever. It's almost as bad as Heathrow, so second worst. And you literally rock up in a taxi, jump out and walk in. There's like no security at all. And then you walk in, and then I obviously started eating all the muffins and the brownies and the cookies and shit that they leave out for you, because that's what they give posh people apparently. And then no hassle at all. Literally just rock up. In fact, I was too early. I went an hour early. Could have went 10 minutes early. You just walk out and then get on the plane, and every now and then they'll pull someone out the line to check security, to check the gear. But it's proper easy and proper good. You just walk in, walk off. And then when you land, you walk off the plane, and then they usher you through a side door and you're in the car park. It's the best thing ever. So I don't begrudge posh wankers using the private jets. But don't lecture me about climate change. Do you know what I'm saying? This is what does my head in. You don't have to lie about it. Like, I'm not having a go at Leonardo DiCaprio for using a private jet. But don't do it and tell me I shouldn't be flying anywhere. You hypocritical little pervert. Hey, Mystic Turtles is now important to me. Welcome, Mystic Turtles. Cheers, mate. Where was I? Yeah, it's the hypocrisy. I'm not going to have a pop at you if you're living in a third world cesspit and our globalist sociopath leaders let you in. It's not your fault. It's our leaders' fault. But you don't have to lie about it. Don't tell me that your ancestors were there first, because they weren't. It's the equivalent of book burning what they do nowadays. It's baffling to me. Ireland wasn't even black in the 90s. It's not like, at least if it was like in the 60s or the 70s, maybe. But If you went to Ireland in like 1998, everyone there looked like me. So what are you talking about? Yeah, check the demographic. It's 1966. It's unbelievable. It's not even you don't have to go back to the 60s. This is why I keep telling everyone, like, I grew up in the 90s and you never seen any foreigners. It's book burning what they're doing. It's just lies. And I'm not particularly bothered by people moving. And I'm not mega right wing, and I'm certainly no kind of wacky racial purist or anything weird like that. I am an immigrant, so it'd be hypocritical. People move, I get it. But there should be a process and a procedure and common sense. And there isn't. And now they're lying about it. Constantly lying about it. It's mad. 1990s. I'll tell you a true story. My mate Fitzy told me that he'd never, ever seen a black person in person in Middlesbrough in the 90s, and the first one he ever met mugged him. That's a true story. He said he'd never, ever seen one in Middlesbrough, and then when he first started in college, so I think it was like 97 or 98, he said it was the first time he'd ever seen one, and he went, whoa, you don't see many of these in the borough, and then he walked over and went, where's my money? Where's my money, Dave? Like, instantly mugged him. So I was like, first of all, that's hilarious. And second of all, that just goes to show you how many lies these people are telling. Because they're making out as if, oh, yeah, my ancestors were here first. Your ancestors weren't even here in the 70s. The vast majority of ethnic minority groups in the UK and Ireland didn't turn... Their parents, at best... They were born there, but the parents weren't. Or maybe if you're down in London, maybe the parents and them were born there, but the grandparents weren't. Like, it's that easy. I've seen an American bloke who was much less politically correct than we are. When I was in a hotel in London and he was in front of me, and you could see he was astounded. This is about 10 years ago. And he was astounded that everyone in London was from an ethnic minority background. He was shocked. And he said to the lass who was at the gate, where are you from? This at the front desk at the hotel. I was behind him. And at the time I had a wry grin on my face because I thought he was being like silly and a bit racist. But now I'm like, yeah, I could see why I was surprised. And he was going to her, where are you from? And because obviously her parents were cousin shaggers, she didn't want to say where she was actually from. Because why would you? Again, I get that. I'm not having a pop. I wouldn't want to say it either. But he was like, where are you from? And she went, England. And he went, yeah. But where are you really from? And she was like, England. And he went, where are your parents from? And she was like, England. She wouldn't just answer him like a normal person. Like, if that was me, I'd be like, oh yeah, me mum and dad were born here, but my grandparents are from India or Pakistan or whatever. But she wouldn't even entertain it because she rightly was like, well, I don't want this bloke to think I'm getting rattled by my first cousin. Oh, no, I'm from England. Yeah, definitely from England. It's not even irrational or illogical. It's what everybody was saying about Rishi Sunak. Like, I'm not having a go at Rishi Sunak because of his background, but don't tell me he's more English than me. Do you know what I mean? Because he isn't. People have places. That whole comment... Again, Constantine kissing, I'm not really a big fan, but it was right what he said. Like, you don't need to lie all the time. That's why everybody's getting angry about it. It's making people bigoted and racist, isn't it? Because it's the lies that annoy you. Like, the reason I told the private jet analogy was because that's the same thing. I haven't got a chip on my shoulder about class. I'm not a class warrior. I don't hate Leonardo DiCaprio for using a private jet. If I was a multimillionaire, I'd use a private jet. But if he's going to start lecturing me, eat the bugs, walk, don't fly to Spain, you selfish prick, while he's eating a steak and flying on a private jet, it makes me despise him. Humans despise hypocrisy. And that's what I'm saying. This type of thing that they're doing now makes people bigoted and hateful. It's even been proved. There's been studies about it. DEI training makes people more prejudiced. I wonder if I can Google that. Let me have a look. Because I've read that. have studies about it. Let's have a look. There we are. City Council of Public Affairs. Here we go. Let's have a read of this. So, study finds DEI training increases prejudice. And wankers will try and argue with you about this. But as usual, like I always tell you lot, think for yourself. Don't listen to me. I'll just put my opinions out there and put some evidence out there. And you do your own homework. And you make your own opinions. And make your own mind up. Does this pass the sniff test? When I'm not bothered about Leonardo DiCaprio flying on a private jet until he calls me a wanker for going to Spain once a year, then I hate him because it's hypocrisy, right? I'm not bothered about Rishi Sunak wanting to leave a village full of pot-bellied dwarves with bones through their noses who shag the cousins. I'm not bothered about him doing that. I'd want to do that as well. But don't tell me that you're more English than I am. And don't tell me Ash Sarkar is more Irish than Bobby Sands, you silly bastard. All right? Easy. Crikey, isn't it? A 20. Mystic Turtle, I've already said hello to him. Welcome. Bearded one. 199. Check your Twitter mention for a good story. I'll do that right now. Hang on. Which one? Oh, here we are. I see you. Right, I'll get to that in a moment. I've opened it in another tab. Thanks for the £2. Cheers, mate. And last but definitely not least, Richie Erickson. Few quid towards your canteen in the scroll. Cheers, mate. I can use that to buy Lambert and Butler Lucy's off the prison daddy. So cheers for that, mate. Much appreciated. Right, so it passes the sniff test, this story, doesn't it? It passes the sniff test, because that's what I'm saying. Most people just want to get on. Most people aren't racist. Most people aren't sexist. Most people aren't homophobic. But hypocrisy makes you hate. It does. It's the biggest driver of hate. I told you, I don't know what it is in the human psyche, but you hate hypocrisy more than anything else. Lying's bad. Cheating's bad. There's lots of traits that are bad, but hypocrisy seems to trump them, doesn't it? Like, if you just lie to me, if you just lie to me and say, oh, I've never sucked anyone off, oh, I think it's disgusting, and then I find out you've been sucking blokes off, I'll be like, lie to me there. But if you went on a crusade like some of these Baptist preachers do, and if you spent 20 years lecturing, making podiums outside gay nightclubs, telling people that if they suck each other off, it's the worst crime imaginable and they're all going to go to hell for 1,000 years, and then I find out you've just been made airtight in a Motel 6 by getting roasted by two gimps. That is way worse, because hypocrisy is appalling. There's something about it that makes you hate. And that's why everything's going tits up now, because all they do is practice this. Yeah, as correctly stated in the comments, injustice as well. Those two things. That's why they got rid of the death penalty, because everyone thought of an innocent man being put to death and thought, oh, you've got to get rid of it. And now look where we're at. We just demand an end to hypocrisy and an end to injustice, and then we might calm down a little bit. Finola, a pint of Guinness in 1982. Was it? Surely it was cheaper than that, wasn't it? Anyway, every penny counts. It's the thought that counts. So thanks very much, Finola. But yeah, it's definitely was cheaper than that. I was going out in the 90s and you could get a pint for about £1. I bet you a pint of Guinness in 1982 was about 40 pence or something. Anyway, I'll read you this story because I've started ranting about it. So, I'm going to make the text bigger. Here we are. In 2021, Oklahoma lawmakers voted to outlaw mandatory trainings at state colleges that embrace certain core tenets of critical race theory. In practice, it meant that many diversity, equity, and inclusion trainings were prohibited, since DEI is often based on critical race theory. A recent study highlights why lawmakers were eager to ban those trainings. Researchers found that many DEI trainings increase prejudice, so much so that individuals who underwent DEI training became more likely to endorse viewpoints endorsed by the one bollock painter. The evidence presented in these studies reveals that while purporting to combat bias, some anti-oppressive DEI narratives can engender a hostile attribution bias and heighten racial suspicion, prejudicial attitudes, authoritarian policing, and support for punitive behaviours in the absence of evidence for a transgression deserving punishment, researchers wrote. There you go. So, oh look, Ibram X. Kendi and Robin DiAngelo, those two people have created more full-blown barn-stomping fans of Benito than any 500 people like Tony Romo or, God, anyone they've arrested, Count Dankula. Not one single person has been turned into a one-bollocked painter aficionado by the likes of Count Dankula or myself, dare I say. Not one person. But Ibram X. Kendi and Robin DiAngelo have made millions and millions and millions of them. Sam Mellier. Not one person will have been turned by one of his stickers. But I guarantee tens of thousands got very, 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 very angry when they found out about the injustice, right? The hypocrisy and the injustice. Nobody will have got turned by a politely worded sticker. But tens of thousands will have been turned at the thought of an innocent man spending years behind bars away from his wife and children because the authoritarian state demands it. So there you go. Good that, innit? Interesting story. We'll do the bearded ones now. It better be good because he's promised me. National Crime Agency. Shooters. Shooters are 10 a penny nowadays, aren't they? Man jailed over gun parts hidden in 48-year-old car from the obvious. From the obvious. A man who tried to smuggle 72 firearms in car shipped from Pakistan to the United Kingdom has been jailed for 8 years. Yasir Khan pleaded guilty after a National Crime Agency investigation proved he was behind the bid to smuggle slides and barrels for Glock self-loading pistols in a Datsun Sunny. The haul was expertly hidden in the vehicle. Amazing. Discovered by Border Force during a search. Fantastic. There he is. Splendid gentleman. Another upstanding citizen. What a decent geezer. Is the meat still on? Arrest would be... Yeah, the meat isn't on because after the last 6 months, I am 100... First of all, I'm convinced I am going to get door-stopped by the Rozzers, which is why I filmed a video. And second of all, I'm convinced that if we did it, I'd end up with about 80 people getting jailed. So the meat isn't on. It can be a dry run. If common sense policing has returned to the UK after the backlash from the last 6 months, then I'll be back shortly. I won't be leaving it years this time because I'm not intending to work my arse off when I get back, which is what I've done for the last 2 years. If it goes off smoothly, probably back in the UK within 6 months, and then we'll do some kind of meeting. But we need to have a dry run, don't we? After the events of the last few months, we need to have a dry run because who knows what's going to happen. What I will do though is I'm going on the lash with my mates in Nottingham. I'm going to the Borough, going to London. I think we're going to try to go to Windsor as well. I'm going all over the place. So I'll, if I'm a free man, I'll put something up for the members on the community note on YouTube. We can at least go for some pints in a local Wetherspoons, because obviously I'm a tight northerner and Wetherspoons is my go-to drinking establishment. Anyway, back to the story at hand. NCA officers began investigating this splendid gentleman who claimed he was a car dealer. A car dealer. Can you imagine? This is how thick these inbreds are, right? Can you imagine? You tell the government you're a car dealer and you're bringing in a 1976 Datsun Sunny. I mean, even on the face of it, it's ludicrous, isn't it? You're a car dealer. It's like me going into Heathrow and they stop me and I'm there with little fat middle-aged balding bloke with board shorts on and, and a work t-shirt. And they say, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, oh, I'm a fashion model. Yeah, I prowl the catwalks of the world's glitziest establishments. And I generally only wear like Tom Ford. Yeah, a car dealer bringing in a Datsun Sunny. Like, how thick are these people? A 1976 Datsun Sunny. It'd have been worth about 400 quid. And he's importing it from Pakistan. I can't believe they're that thick. If you want to get away with it, you're importing, like, you know, a 200 grand Tesla, Rolls Royce or something. Oh, crikey, another 20. I'm killing it tonight. Have a couple of pints tonight, Matt. Cheers. Mark McNicholas. I will do. I think I'll go for a few ales in LA. I'm going to see my mother-in-law before we bugger off anyway. So, I mean, Mrs. Grandad, because he's old and knackered. Cheers for that, mate. I much appreciate it. Again, I'll save that for roll-ups in Wormwood Scrubs. Silver Fox is looking at 3 for saying Starmer. Oh, really? Yeah, it's unbelievable. I better get rid of that. They might think I endorse that message. See, I'm cleverer than that. I'm almost certain I've never said anything that's even remotely approaching criminality. Ever. Even in authoritarian hellscape. But you never know, do you? My argument would be Facebook, YouTube and Google don't let you say anything like that. All I've ever said is he is a closeted, androgynous, charmless, homosexual android with the charisma of a leper, a radioactive Chernobyl leper with herpes. That's all right, isn't it? I'm not saying like I'd do anything bad to him. I'm just pointing out that I've got eyeballs and that's what everybody who can see or hear thinks of him. Easy. I don't ever say anything hateful. I just make juvenile, crass insults. Who's the guy importing that stuff? Oh, see, there's the question. Yeah, probably for the regulars at Alan's Snack Bar, don't they? Because we know they're like causing a bit of chaos. So yeah, it is concerning. They'll be getting tooled up, won't they? 50. Imagine the damage you could do with 50 of them. They'll be getting tooled up as best they can, won't they? Definitely. So yeah, not looking good. As I said, it's going to kick off one of these days. Definitely. Oh, Butcher's in, all right, mate. Old pal from the core. Hey up, Royal, loving the channel. I tune in every day. I hope you're doing well, Butch. I hope you're doing well. I do still see Richie every now and then. Every time I go to London, I give him a shout. If I manage to get through Heathrow without getting bent over a bench and rogered with a broom shank by Her Majesty's finest, I'll probably just look him up this time. So we'll see. But I'm glad you're doing well. So yeah, that's brilliant, that, isn't it? 50 Glocks. Even that, I feel like even that's two-tier justice, isn't it? Because I feel like if I was bringing in 50 Glocks, I don't think I'd get out. What's he going to do? He's going to get out in 4 years, isn't he? 4 years? Probably. You should get... You have no reason at all to be importing Glocks in a 1976 Datsun Sunny unless you fully intend to supply people that are going to go on a murder rampage. So to me, if you get caught smuggling 50 Glocks into the UK, I think you should get 25 years. 25 years, you'll get out in 12 and a half. Is that not reasonable? Crime and punishment is one of these things that I keep telling you. The old left that always voted Labour, they talk a good game. All the socialists claim them like, oh, they're our boys, the old lefties. But they aren't, because old school lefties who were working class from places, Labour heartlands like Newcastle or Cardiff or Sunderland or Hartlepool, ask them their opinions on crime and punishment. The average Geordie Labour voter, he's voted Labour for 30 years. And if you say to him, What do you think we should do with a groomer who rattles a load of 10-year-olds? Do you honestly think he's going to go, well, I think what we should do, like, is send him to see a social worker and then maybe have him gone to a static caravan in Flamingo Land for a couple of weeks so they can, like, think about what they've done and that. And then they'll be like a good, upstanding member of society, man. No, that's not what they'll say. No. He'll be a 30-year Labour voter. But on crime and punishment, he's got nothing in common with Harriet Harman. I guarantee you that. He'll be like, kill him with a brick lake. That's what he'll say. That's what he'll say. This is for the birds. This lunatic idea that all the old Labour heartlands are all full of these modern, cringing, hand-wringing, sparrow-boned lefty soy boys. They aren't left-wing in the modern sense. They were tough on immigration as well. Do you think a monkey hanger wants to bring 2,000 blokes in from Rwanda to compete for his job? Are you mental? Steve, you're almost giving me a diver. Cheers, mate. Much appreciated. I'm up to 45 quid there for the prison tab end. I'll have more Lambert and Butler than I'll know what to do with here. Although I can only fit about 40 up my hoop. Yeah, so nobody else give me any money today. I can only fit 2 or 3 boxes of Bucksheet tabs in my ring piece. So please, no more money. Definitely don't want any cans going up there. So pause the donations. I'm up to 1,300 again. I'm killing it. The numbers on these live streams, I'm killing it lately. Definitely getting diddled by the YouTube algorithm, Anna. Definitely. 20. Oh yeah, I never thought of that. I haven't checked the cost of Lambert and Butler. I bet you it's about, how much is 20 Lambert now? I'll guess. What is it? 15 quid? When I was in school, we used to buy 10 Lambert and we used to call them Lambert and Scuttler. If you were feeling flush, you'd get Regal king size. If you were skint, you were on Lambert and Scuttler. And I think 10 Lambert and Scuttler was like 140. No, in fact, no, I think Regal were like 148 and Lambert and Scuttler were like 120. 18 quid. Unbelievable. I wouldn't pay 18 quid to get someone else to suck on mine. 18 quid to suck on a Lambert and Butler. I wouldn't pay 18 quid to get an attractive young lass to suck on mine. That's unbelievable, that. 18 quid. Absolute daylight. Sniper side, get some Vaseline to wait at the prison pocket store. Okay, £5 for a jug of that. Winner. Seems like people are more encouraged to give me money when they think it's going to aid in my violation in a prison. One thing I was a bit disappointed with, maybe I'm too small fry. I still haven't hit 6 figures. Didn't make Hope Not Hate's little pamphlet. There's another good example of two-tier justice. Because do you remember that little weasel Nick Laws? Shall we look him up, see what he's been up to lately? Or is it Nick Laws or Nick Lawls? Nick Lawls, that's it. This rat, this sloshing portaloo of a man, this human toilet. Nick Laws. So, people get jailed for I told you, I always say it like that because I hate using their words. I just say liars. You're a liar and you tell lies. But they've been locking people up for and Nick Laws purposely spread lies, outright lies, saying that in Middlesbrough, lads who look like me threw acid in the face of cousin shaggers. Right. Not only has that never happened, that is so far the exact opposite of the truth that he might as well tell me that in 16th century England, the men wore grass skirts, carried spears, and had bones through the noses. It's the exact opposite of the truth. It's importing a cultural practice that everybody in the world knows is a cultural practice native to Southeast Asia and insisting that it's an English practice. right? So it's the exact opposite of the truth. It's not just a lie, it's the inversion of the truth. It's a black hole of truth. That's what this little rat said in public. And nobody went to knock on his door, did they? Nobody. So again, it's laughable. Stephen Roberts, can you imagine getting out in 4 years and they still haven't sold it? Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. Nobody wants to import a 1976 Datsun Sunny. No baggy allowed in the clink, eh? Well, I suppose it'll be good for you. I thought that was one of the things they all did in prison. Although this is just from like 1980s comedy films. I just remember the bow tie killer on Problem Child when he's walking through the prison and everyone's terrified of him. And when he goes, smoke, all these massive buff black dudes are all lifting weights. They all stop what they're doing to give him tabs. They're like, So I assumed that was like currency in jail. But fortunately, being as I'm law-abiding citizen, I've never been to prison. Only vapes now, really? So they'll let you vape? Unbelievable. Well, I'm not starting. I don't care how long they lock me up for. I'm not starting. Again, I'm sure it's a very slim chance that people like me are going to get locked up for sending a comical tweets pointing out that Diane Abacus wears 2 left shoes, or David Lammy is the sweatiest man I've ever seen in politics, or Harriet Harman really was pro-nonce, looking at some headlines from back in the day. I'm sure you can say all of that without getting locked up, but the fact that we even entertain the idea proves that two-tier justice is a thing, because we're even talking about it. The fact that Mr. Mellier went to prison for more than 2 years for saying it's okay to look like me. He went to prison for it. But this oily little communist spread lies about my hometown and the people that inhabit it, and blatant brazen lies, and made out as if it's a cultural norm in Middlesbrough that when you ask a lass to give you a chew and she politely refuses, you then ditch a pint of battery acid in her face. It doesn't happen. It's never happened. I got knocked back plenty of times prowling the pubs and nightclubs of Middlesbrough. Plenty of lasses told me to do one, and then I went, well, I'll go to the bar and try again later. Nobody gets acid in the face. It's not an English practice. So shut up, you lying little rat. If there was justice, he'd get locked up for way longer than Sam Mellier did. Because all he did was put some politely worded stickers out. This fella spread lies promoting hatred and violence. That's what he did. And everybody else got locked up for it. But he never. Because he's got the right opinions in line with Comrade Starmley. Every time he posts, people put it in there. Because no one will forget stuff like that. Is there any more lies? Let's just find some more lies. All he does is lie. Lies. There's got to be Russia, lies. And basically, every time he posts, though, people screen cap the nonsense that he made up. Because he's a scumbag, he's a liar. That's why he always protects his tweets. And Turning Point, like, yeah, you little Marxist weasel. There, look, peddled a lie about, there you go. We will not forget how you, a little Marxist weasel, peddled a lie about an acid attack, a lie which incited violence against British people. It's all lies, and he can still roam the streets with impunity because he's a commie, and the commies can do what they want. It does prove something that I've made the point about, though, which I'll finish on this because I've got to do some admin before I piss off. It does prove a point that I've made a lot, which it isn't explicitly about race, religion, or colour. It's a political movement. This woke, commie, gibberish is a global political movement, and it isn't just about what you look like. They've obviously wrote that into the statute, so it's now law that they think about your ethnicity and your race and your religion before they prosecute you. But it is your political leanings. Because people like Nick Lowles and Owen Jones, and I nearly said Ash Sarkar, but yeah, she's got a wee bit of a tan. They get let off. If Owen Jones went out putting stickers on lampposts that were politely worded and had no swearing on them, he would never have got sent to prison for it. It is a political movement, and that's why Nick Lowles gets away with it. But yeah, I'm going to have to call it early because I've got admin to do. I promised my missus I'd leave at noon, so I've got 20 minutes to sort my life out and upload some videos that I've already edited. So yeah, ladies and gents, I'm probably going to be out for a couple of weeks. I've put a white pill video on I'll release it on Monday or something. And hopefully the one of me superimposed, surrounded by Bubba and Fat Tony and Mickey Ice Picks and all of that, we'll never need to see the light of day. So fingers crossed, we'll see. Remember, prior to my white pill video going live, things will get better quickly. It'll keep going downhill and downhill and downhill. We'll scrape the bottom of the barrel, and then it will get better. Don't become a statistic. I tell you this all the time. I'm sure everyone in this chat, if you had little girls, they're not getting groomed because you take care of them. These people are predators. They pick on the weak. They're not going after the old-fashioned English conservative who looks after his children. They're going after the waifs and straves that are unprotected. You never have to be a statistic. The statistics are looking bad. There's going to be more Southports. There's going to be more grooming. There's going to be more violence. But if you stay focused and you stay sharp and you pay attention and you watch your surroundings and you look after your wife and your kids, you won't become a statistic. So do what I do. Stay focused. Look after yourselves. Piss yourself laughing at the endless stupidity of our government and the authoritarian globalist scum that lords it over us, and sit back safe in the knowledge that eventually someone is going to finally flick the tiger's ball sack and the nation will rise. It'll be a Boudicca moment for the British people. I guarantee you that. So don't despair. Just piss yourself laughing at the lunacy that's taking place around you, and I'll see you all on the other side of it. All right? Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I'll see you all in a few weeks. Take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Toodle pip. All right? Cheers. See you later.